Caitlin Clark gets ultimate vote of confidence from Sophie Cunningham. While there are presumably many things that might lure Sophie Cunningham back to the Indiana Fever in free agency, her relationship with Caitlin Clark might be among the most important. Cunningham and Clark have built a strong bond on and off the court, and with that comes a ton of mutual trust between them. Caitlin Clark gets the nod in clutch Sophie Cunningham's shooting question. This trust was put on display when Cunningham was asked a series of rapid-fire questions by Whistle Sports on February 14th. When asked who was one player she would let run her social media channels for a week, Cunningham said no one. Actually, I think I would give it to Kelsey Mitchell. She's the most salt-of-the-earth person, and it's like I feel like I would actually trust her a lot. Cunningham was then asked if she had a warning label, what it would be, and she responded by saying that ***** crazy. In all the good ways, you know. She then said that actress Blake Lively is the person she gets mistaken for the most, and then was asked a celebrity she would love to have sitting courtside at a game. I would love Will Ferrell. I love him. The interviewer added he could get dressed up in his iconic costume from the Elf movie, and Cunningham responded by saying, "Oh my God, I would love that." While this was a solid answer, the one that Fever fans will love the most came afterwards, when Cunningham was asked which player she would choose if they had to make a three-pointer with her life on the line. "I'll go CC. I'll give it to her," Cunningham said with a subtle nod, of course, referring to her Fever teammate. That's quite a big vote of confidence from Cunningham to Clark, but it's also a choice that makes a ton of sense. The final question posed to Cunningham was her being asked to choose one WNBA player and one NBA player to compete in a three-point contest. Kayla McBride, heck of a shooter. I feel like she doesn't get the credit she deserves. Just because he's my boy and he has been killing it, I'd say Colin Gillespie. She then made it very clear that she didn't mean my boy in any romantic sense, and that they're just friends. Perhaps Cunningham didn't think it would be right to name Clark twice in one video, and so chose McBride instead. Caitlin Clark and WNBA players get romantic to demand the money they are not being paid. On February 14th, the Women's National Basketball Players Association delivered a Valentine's Day message that offered a playful take on an important discussion that is currently ongoing. Posted to Instagram and clearly directed at the WNBA and its latest collective bargaining proposal, the message avoided legal jargon and financial tables. Instead, it used flirty language to make a pointed demand from the organization representing Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark and other stars. "Roses are red, violets are blue. We'd love a proposal that values players too." A second slide read, "The situationship has gone on for too long." A third added, "Maybe it's time to make it official." The tone may have been lighthearted, but the meaning was unmistakable. Negotiations between the Women's National Basketball Players Association and the WNBA remain ongoing. There has been measurable progress in certain areas, yet the most consequential financial questions are still unresolved. Could housing end the saga? One significant breakthrough involves housing. Under the revised proposal, one-bedroom apartments will be provided for players earning the league minimum salary. Additionally, 2 developmental players per roster will receive studio apartments. For years, housing support has been a quality-of-life concern for players balancing demanding travel schedules and relatively modest salaries compared to other professional leagues. These concessions mark tangible movement. However, housing is not the core dispute. Revenue sharing remains the central sticking point. Reports indicate that the WNBA is holding firm below a 15% share of total revenue for players. In contrast, the union is pushing for a $10.5 million salary cap and a 30% share of gross revenue calculated before expenses are deducted. That distinction is critical, as it significantly alters the financial outcome for players across the league. League officials have projected that meeting the union's full proposal could lead to approximately $700 million in losses over the life of the agreement. The Women's National Basketball Players Association has publicly rejected that estimate, calling it absolutely false and maintaining that a revised revenue-sharing model would better position the WNBA for long-term profitability. Stewart gives a positive update. Despite the financial gap, rhetoric from players has remained measured rather than combative. On February 13th, Breanna Stewart addressed the ongoing negotiations and struck a cautiously optimistic tone. "I'm feeling better. I'm feeling like the owners are finally really acknowledging and being receptive of what we want and the players as well." Her comment suggested progress without signaling compromise on core principles. She also highlighted the urgency of reaching a resolution before the 2026 season is affected. "I'm hoping we can get this thing done quickly, so then we're not late to start the 2026 season. Now that we're part of a revenue-shared model, you miss games. It's less money. Not to say that we should submit and just say yes to any proposal that we don't like, but this is a business now." The Valentine's Day post underlines a shift in direction. As the WNBA experiences surging popularity, record attendance, and expanding media coverage, players are seeking compensation structures that reflect that growth. For now, negotiations continue behind closed doors. But through carefully chosen words, the WNBA made it clear that the players believe the league's future prosperity should be shared.